Ohayo.
Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things Japan. We are your hosts. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Thank you for tuning in again today.
Thank you.
Today's episode was a request.
Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestions. Always good to give us ideas and some direction to go to. Today's episode is about the samurai. So in doing research for today's podcast, we kind of just broke it down. The topic of samurai is so involved. There's so much history involved. So we just broke it down to 10 interesting facts about the samurai. Well, things that we found interesting at least.
For sure, for you guys will be interesting
Hope
too.
so. And then at the end, we're going to have a street level Japanese segment. So samurai, do they teach much about the samurai in school for you guys?
As a Japanese student in Japan?
Like
no.
Elementary or high school? Or?
No. Obviously, we know about samurai. We know about, I think, history. But what we learn is obviously about like the history of this samurai did this at this age and this did this age. So it's all about history. So we don't really learn about this small, more interesting topic in the school. So this will be a good topic for even Japanese.
Okay, nice. Perfect. So the word samurai, where does it come from?
So the word samurai is coming from originally, it's called saburau. And saburau means like who work for the master. And then they are like governors at the beginning around the year 700 to 1000. So samurai and bushi were in a different category until year 1000. So samurai have a master and work for them as a governor. And after year 1000, samurai became more like warrior. So like bushi was the warrior.
Bushi means warrior?
Bushi means warrior, yes. But samurai was more work for this owner.
Like nobility, they work for a lord or whatever. And a warrior is just a warrior.
And that was the bushi. And why there was different word? Because of samurai, like I explained, like saburau to owner, to a noble family. But bushi, year 743, Japanese government that time, they made the law about if you clean and made the land.
So if you clear out a piece of land.
The piece of land, and then that's for you.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to pay for it.
You don't need to pay for it.
You just have to cut the trees down.
Cut the trees down and then
build a house
or
on
whatever, and then make the land nicer. And that's for you. But obviously that means you have to protect your land by yourself. So then I think all the neighbors or whoever wants to protect the land, they made the group, which is called Bushidan.
So bushi are just like fighters.
Or like protectors. And then later when the aristocratic families wanted to hire like real warriors or like highly trained warriors, that's when samurais came. Understood. So samurais were noble warriors and bushis are just normal people. Basically.
And were you born into being a samurai?
I mean, if you're born in a samurai family, yes, you are. But most of the people born as a farmer. and then it's like 90% of population was farmer.
Okay.
But obviously samurai is smaller population, but they have better job,
Okay.
better wealth.
Okay.
So
at that time, a lot of the noble lords would recruit samurai to be samurai just from like the working farmer class. And train them up.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like people who are into Japanese culture, or just if you think of Japan, a lot of people will think samurais, ninjas. Right?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I thought samurai and bushi was same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's quickly touch on ninjas, how they're different. So samurais, they work for a lord, and ninjas are more like spies.
They still work for lord, I think.
They can, yeah. They're like mercenaries. They can work for anyone. And a lot of lords would hire ninjas too, right? And they would do like sabotage type work, espionage, assassination. And samurais, everything about them is all about honor. So they fight face to face, honorable. And they found ninjas dishonorable because ninjas work in the shadows.
Exactly. And then their job is basically like they got the special secret information, then bring back to the owner.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So samurai, they're willing to die, right?
Yes.
To protect.
They're always willing to die. Yes.
Yeah. But ninja is like, they still protect road.
Yeah.
But to protect road, they need the special information, and then that's why they always focus
behind the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember I lived in Himeji, and Himeji's popular for their castle. So obviously when I first moved there, I did a Himeji castle tour and stuff like that. And one of the things I found interesting was on the tour, when walking through the castle, a lot of the wood was like really creaky on the floors and on the stairs.
I see. Yeah.
But the tour guide was like, it's not because it's badly made. It's because they purposely made the floorboards and
to
the
make
stairs
a sound.
To make a sound, to protect from, not protect, but it's like an alarm system for the ninjas, because they would come in at night.
Yeah.
So
So protect from the assassin, then. Yeah.
Exactly. You can hear them coming.
Yeah.
All right. Sense. Let's get into our interesting facts. So number one would be they were women samurai. So I think mostly everyone would think samurai were men.
Female. Yeah. No, male. Sorry.
But actually there were a lot of female samurai. A lot of the women were also trained to be warriors too, because when their husbands went to fight, they would need to protect. So a lot of them were trained and skilled in fighting. So we read that they would do DNA testing on the remains at like popular battlefield sites. And in this one battle, Senban Matsubaru in 1580, out of the 105 bodies that they tested, 35 of them were female. So, and other sites around Japan also yielded like the same results. So I think in total, the percentages out of all the sites we read, the percentages changed, but about 6% of the Japanese population at that time were samurai, about 2 million people. And then 3.5% of those samurai were women.
Well,
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Number two was samurai were very well educated, and
that makes sense.
Loved the arts. Yep. So besides their daily martial arts training, they would, a chunk of their time would be to practice these arts and to study. So they would do Zen meditation, painting, Ikebana. What's Ikebana?
Ikebana?
Yeah, Ikebana.
It's basically called kado.
Okay.
So you get bunch of flowers and then branches, and then you put in a one, no crate, how to say, the base,
Okay.
and you make it beautiful.
So the art of flower
Exactly.
and arranging.
Yeah. Dough. Yeah.
Tea ceremonies, rock gardens. They would do poetry, study literature, and we actually can have the samurai to thank for Ikebana, tea ceremonies, and rock gardens. Yeah, they're not just like brute
No.
warrior,
No.
killers.
It's kind of makes sense because like even when I was cooking in Japan, same thing. Like the chefs, some restaurants they give chefs 2 days off, but they told them like one day you either do ikebana, kado, or sado,
Oh, really?
tea,
Oh, okay.
or shodo, whatever dough, because of like I think that mentality from the art,
Yeah.
you actually learn a lot of like I don't know respect or even like how you concentrate, how you express your inner mind
Yes. Yes.
to the things,
Yes.
right?
So it can help you in your trade.
Yeah, yeah,
That's one thing about Japanese culture. Like they really do appreciate the arts, and to be well-rounded,
yeah,
you have to do
yeah. We're not just
many
like
things.
praying.
exactly.
We actually always take seriously and then see as like one of our life.
exactly how
Yeah.
you can apply these skills to your life, right?
Yep,
Your mind.
yep.
The next one is the wealth of a samurai in feudal Japan was measured in terms of koku. One koku was supposed to be the amount of rice it took to feed one man for a year, which was equivalent to 180 liters of rice. Interesting.
It makes sense. That's also because I think that time rice
Is
was one of the currency, right?
Okay.
So like obviously you have more rice, that means you have more power. Yeah. So
The next one is, so being a samurai was seen as like good position in society, right? So a lot of the aristocratic families, I'll get it, will send their kids to start training to be a samurai from the age of 3. So you learn how to walk? Okay, now go fight.
now go fight. Yeah. Now you know how to use katana.
So yeah, they would start practicing with real blades from 5 years old. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But I think at this time, at this phase, I think to learn how to fight is, I guess, which university you go.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Super necessary as well, right?
For sure. Because like
And back then, the life expectancy is really low.
really low. Yeah. Also because, yeah, there was how to say,
A caste.
yeah, the caste.
Uh-huh.
And then samurai bushi is always high
Up top.
class. So
Okay.
yeah, no one wants to be a farmer.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want to be a high caste.
Yeah.
The next one, number 5. Many samurai were bisexual.
This is I was surprised.
Okay. So back then, it wasn't frowned upon. Same-sex relationships were not frowned upon.
No.
They were even encouraged. So many of these relationships happened between the apprentice and master. And even though they would end up marrying a female, they would still have same-sex relationships during the whole time. And only until the Americans came with their Christianity that laws were put in place to prohibit same-sex relationships.
Yeah, because also the new Japanese government after the samurai period, they want to make more westernized, right?
Okay.
So they want to follow the law, what they do in Western culture. And I think for sure, even those governors, they do like same-sex relationship. But to get high-end modern society, I think they choose to make a role and tell them like, no, don't do it.
So like they would see the lords or their masters as like almost gods.
Yeah.
Right.
So whatever they say.
And also to have same-sex relationships with your master, with your lord, it's like seen as a good thing and something that I'm worthy enough to do. I should do it, right?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
The next one, number 6, is that so the word Ronin is like glamorized from like movies and books now, right? It's supposed to be. It was like it's cool to be a Ronin,
cool
right?
samurai. Yeah,
it's a cool samurai. But actually, how to become a Ronin was that if your master died while you were still in training, you'd be forced to just be a wandering samurai, which is a Ronin.
You lost the place to work for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, in Japanese society back then, if you were a Ronin, you were like ridiculed. You would be seen as like a homeless person. Interesting.
Which is sad, but
and a lot of the Ronin wouldn't want to do like a lower caste job because they felt like, oh, I'm a samurai.
Yeah. But I think unfortunately that time the system wasn't accept those people, right? Yeah. So like you have to have the road. You have to have the owner.
You have to have a place. Yeah.
As a samurai. Yeah.
The next one, number 7, is samurai were actually often hairier than normal Japanese people, with lighter skin and a European nose shape, which has led some people to believe that they were descendants of the Ainu.
From Hokkaido.
From Hokkaido, yeah. So those are the native people of Japan.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you do see like the historic photos of samurai,
yeah, they actually looks like
they do kind of look white.
No, like Asian.
Yeah, not like the Japanese people what you think of today.
That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe they have more power.
Yeah, maybe they're stronger.
Yeah,
taller.
Could be taller. Yeah.
Could be more. Yeah, they have the native power. Next one, number 8, is that there were foreign-born samurai.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, so a lot of samurai were not a lot, I suppose, but only a few were actually recorded in history books. But they found that there were foreign-born samurais, and from Korea, from China, from England, from the Netherlands, from Italy, and from France.
Wow.
Yeah.
But how they're not born in Japan, right?
No.
They are abroad.
Yeah.
And I guess they honor to some lord.
I think a lot of them were like highly trained ship people, or like war tacticians.
So mostly like army.
Yes,
type
exactly.
Of people.
Exactly.
But then they have to follow the Bushido, right?
Exactly. So we'll get into that. That's our next one. Yeah. Let's go. We'll talk about Bushido code in the next one. So number 9, decapitation. So decapitation was a big thing in Japan during that time. So much so that they would gift decapitated heads in a ceremony to their lords, as well as they would have a chance to be decapitated themselves, right? So since the samurai always prepared for death, that's what they believe, right? If they said, there's a saying that if you go into battle preparing to die, you won't die. But if you go into battle preparing to survive, you'll end up dying. And death for them it could happen at any time.
I mean, they're honored to die.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So
yeah.
And so to prepare for that, they would burn incense in their helmets. So in case that they were decapitated, their heads would smell nice.
Oh my gosh.
So going into decapitation is from seppuku. So seppuku is the act of ritual suicide by disembowelment, and it's seen as respected and honorable because they would rather do that than be dishonored and be defeated, right?
Yeah.
So why you would need to perform seppuku? So it would either be set out as a punishment or a voluntary act, and it's because the samurai failed to follow Bushido code, or were going to face capture by the enemy. So quickly, the Bushido code changed from throughout the eras, and throughout different samurai clans, there'd be slight differences in the code. But in the Meiji period, we'll talk about the most recent one. It refers to 8 virtues, which are righteousness, heroic courage, benevolence, compassion, which that point was interesting because they believe that you were trained to have these powerful skills. You should use them for good. And if you don't have an opportunity to help your fellow man, you need to seek out an opportunity to help them. So not just if you have the chance to help someone comes to you,
you're always looking for
chances to help others.
That's a good mindset.
Yeah, that's a good mindset.
Yeah.
Respect, obviously, honesty. So for the samurai, their word is, if they don't have to even give you my word, for them, or a promise, for them, speaking and doing are the same action. Like, you can trust me wholeheartedly for them. The next one would be duty and loyalty, self-control, and honor. So I guess that's where the seppuku comes from, being dishonored. So in seppuku, there was actually 2 versions of it, the battlefield version and a formal version. The battlefield version consisted of piercing the stomach with a short blade, moving it from left to right until the samurai has sliced themselves open and disembowel them. So I guess their guts are pouring out.
Yeah.
And then an attendant, usually a friend, would decapitate them. The formal version, the full-length seppuku, began with a ceremonial bathing. And then after that, the samurai would be dressed in a white robe and would be given their favorite meal. After they eat their meal, a blade would be placed on their empty plate. And then after their meal, they would write a death poem, a traditional tanka. Tanka means poem?
Yeah, tanka. Yeah.
Expressing their final words. And then they would wrap a cloth around the blade and slice their stomach open. And then again, an attendant would decapitate the samurai, but leaving a small strip of skin at the front of their neck, so their head would fall forward and their arms would kind of catch it. It would just like, they'd be hugging their own head.
So somebody who needs to cut head, they're also professional. They have to stop.
Of course, right? That's true. That's true.
Well, I guess, yeah, that time.
Another savage point to seppuku was that their wives would be expected to kill themselves as well by ritual suicide. So, but instead of going through their abdomen and letting their guts pour out, they would cut their neck. And then as well as they would tie their legs up so that they would be found in more of a dignified pose.
They're not like open legs and like tied in a weird pose.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
all right.
It's pretty grim, man.
Yeah. But when I read Bushido, I can tell this is actually how Japanese think.
I think so too.
You know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why in the Meiji period, this last period is when samurai already ended.
Yeah.
So that's why they still use the
mindset,
the Bushido code mindset to apply to business, politics,
definitely,
communication,
definitely,
right?
All of this, I didn't learn Bushido, but I do understand everything. Then I follow this order.
It's ingrained in Japanese.
I think
people.
so. Seriously,
I think so too.
Yeah, and also how teacher taught you, how your parents teaching you things.
Exactly.
It's all about this.
Yeah, right.
Like respect others and honor to what you do.
Bushido means what? Like the way of the warrior, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I think again, anything with the do character means michi, which is way.
Okay.
So I think shodo, kado, the bonsai, kado, sado, all the do has more deep meaning of art.
Just other than
no,
what you're doing.
Just like you doing on that time.
Yeah.
It's like I said at beginning, like it's contained to your life. So any do you do judo, shodo, kendo, anything, that means like you follow the rule and then you make sure your life getting better. Yeah. So it's not just a martial
calligraphy,
arts.
not just writing.
Exactly.
Not just martial arts to fight.
Yeah.
It's
so
a
I think
whole mindset.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then like Bushido, it's like all over everything. Like how, as you're a human being,
how you should act.
Exactly.
In society.
Yeah. And become better person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And of course that order go to the Lord owner, and everything makes sense because these guys are honored to work for me, and then they respect me, they trust me, right?
Yeah, Bushido is very Japanese.
Yeah. I think Bushido is really Japanese,
right?
Yeah.
All right, so that does it. Yeah, the samurai stuff is grim, man.
Yeah, and we might need to talk about ninja with other episode.
Yeah.
This we might need to do again.
Or just talking about samurai history, right?
Yeah. And I just want to touch the last samurai in Japan before. Actually,
Tom Cruise.
It wasn't Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so like in between at beginning of Meiji era.
Okay.
Obviously, the government wants to ban all the samurai, all the katana, right? And then the last guy was from Kagoshima. His name is Takamori Saigo.
Okay.
And then my dad is from Kagoshima.
Okay.
And then my dad actually choose one of Takamori's Chinese character.
Okay.
My name.
Okay.
So pronounce different.
Uh-huh.
My name is Ryusuke. But my Ryu is actually also we can call Taka. And that's from the Takamori Saigo.
Okay.
And I think, excuse me, my dad kind of believing if he put the Takamori Saigo's name on San.
Yeah.
And then he became more like
strong
samurai mind, right?
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know much about Takamori Saigo, but he obviously like he fight with the Japanese government to trying to keep samurai mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that time they banned katanas, samurai swords.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like all the samurai has katana everywhere in public.
Yeah, on them. Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously that's no westernized modern society.
Yes, yes.
No one has the weapon,
Uh-huh.
so I think they want to ban.
I see.
And then obviously samurais killing each other, right? But new modern culture, they don't kill each other.
Yes.
They help each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So
They go to court.
yeah, and then Takamori Saigo, they did fight with the government. At the end, they almost lost, and then he did seppuku
Okay.
and done. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not gonna do it, but yeah, I just wanna touch.
I feel like seppuku, like killing yourself, like with honor, is still something. Is it done in Japan?
It's not. I mean, seppuku
people,
doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist anymore. But people kill themselves all the time.
Exactly. Right? I think in that way, obviously it's not same mindset, but there's something in Japanese mind. We think if something goes really bad and you can fix yourself, then why
Killing
don't
yourself
we?
is
Yeah.
the most honorable way.
Yeah.
If I fucked up or I brought
Exactly.
shame to
Exactly.
myself, my family, killing myself is a way to
like clean up.
yeah.
Which is wrong right now.
Yes.
But I think it's still habit. And in my mind, when I came Canada first time, in my mindset was always like, I'm not gonna fucking die. I don't speak English. I don't know anyone. I don't know anything. But what else could be worse other than death?
Yes.
So of course I was worried. I was scared. But in my mind, it's always thinking like, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die. So I can do whatever I want. So different mindset, but there's always death in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so Japanese, man.
I think so.
Yeah.
When
That's
I
so
researched
Japanese.
this, and then this is definitely from little bit of from Bushido.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
I
much
always
so.
think that I'm not gonna die for this, or either I'm gonna do this till I die.
Okay.
Like I put
That's so Japanese too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing something until they die.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
but slowly I'm changing. But
Interesting.
I just noticed that.
Do you ever on the news? Are there any stories that like people actually they found a dead body and they did seppuku, like the traditional one with their guts coming out?
Nowadays,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
because
That's fucking hardcore. Man.
yeah, and there's so many other way to die, right?
Yeah, jump in front of a
jump
train.
off, or use a coal, and then keep coal in a car with the smoke. You can die.
Yes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't think Japanese gonna do seppuku, and then it might be just my opinion. I have the mindset. Of course, everybody has different mindset, but I was just noticed that I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I do that way.
Well, I think it helps you guys like give it your all. Having death in your head,
Yeah.
it makes you like live life fully. Just having the thought in your head.
Yeah. And also I think maybe because Japanese people thinking too much from others' mind,
Okay.
then if we always think about like, how you think, how they think, it's hard. But we need to think about that in Japanese society. But then in my case, all right, I care about someone too. But at the end, as long as I'm not gonna die, I'm okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of kind of extreme culture
Yes, it is.
to live in Japan, but if people have the mindset, you still be happy or like a little bit more positive, because I'm not gonna die for this problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So that's my mindset. I don't think all the Japanese mindset, but I'm still surviving, and I'm happy that I have that mindset. Yeah.
So Japanese.
So Japanese.
All right.
Right.
So let's stop talking about death and go on to our next segment.
Everybody live.
Street level Japanese.
Street level Japanese.
Today's street level Japanese is a very useful one. Or at least you hear it a lot on the streets. Like it's very slangy.
Yeah.
So how do you say formally I did in Japan, in Japanese?
Formally,
Yeah.
mashita.
Mashita.
Informal,
mashita.
yeah.
And then informal,
chatta.
chatta.
Yeah.
So,
何々しちゃった.
so let's give a few examples. So I brought a brand new camera. Formally,
カメラ買いました.
informally,
カメラ買っちゃった.
kachata. I slept in. Formally,
寝坊しました.
informally,
寝坊しちゃった.
okay. If you lost an important document, formally,
書類なくしました.
informally,
書類なくしちゃった.
and how do you say I forgot formally?
忘れました.
And informally?
忘れちゃった.
So if you said wasureshata to your boss at work,
It's really rude. You're not gonna say it, 忘れちゃった. They're gonna be like, what? What's your behave?
oh really?
You don't say that, 忘れちゃった. You did already wrong. Say it right.
Okay.
忘れました. すいません.
Interesting. So you would use chata like to friends only?
Friends and family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, when you use negative word with chatta, then you have to say like, 忘れちゃった.
Yeah. So yeah, I caught that. So when like you slept, when you said I slept in informally, neboi
寝坊しちゃった.
neboshi chata, you kind of said it like cheekily, like
Exactly. 寝坊しちゃった.
okay.
ごめんね. Yeah.
So it's kind of
It's like you're trying to be like sorry.
Like,
寝坊しちゃった.
kind of be cutie,
Yeah.
cutesy,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And formal way. 寝坊しました. すいません。寝坊しました.
okay. All right. So I did formally,
ました.
informally,
ちゃった.
perfect. All right. So thank you for listening to today's episode.
Thank you.
Please rate, review, subscribe to all our platforms that we're on.
Yeah.
We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. Yeah,
That's
about
it.
it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for listening,
Thank you so much.
and see you on our next episode.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
またね。バイバイ。